Good morning. It is me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want to shift or change those things, we have to shift and change the energy that is within ourselves. Um, Everybody say hi to Bowie. She's having a hard day. She's on her period over here looking very sad. I think she's having cramping. She's not so happy. Very, very relatable for all my feminines out there. Literally, she woke me up this morning, had to go outside real fast, have number two. I was like, listen, I get it, girl. I get it. Poor girl. And then we had to put her diaper back on, and she just hates me. She gave me this yesterday when I was trying to put her diaper on. She had no love for her diaper. And I mean, can we blame her? We really can't. I just realizing I didn't shuffle these last two sexy time cards. So I'm doing it right now. So we have those for the end. Okay. So we're going to start out the way I start out all of my lives. And if you book a private reading with me, which you can do at the link in my profile below. Hi, Lena. Good to see you, my babes. You can also receive this intro meditation-y thing that I have started doing. So if you go back and watch my whole all my collection of videos throughout the last couple of years, this exercise has truly developed. And recently, I think it's probably in its more final form. And I used to just have us like think of something that would make us feel better. And then I would pick the card that came out of the deck and be like, ha ha, this is what you actually need. Um, but now I turned it into a meditation so that it's also useful and not just a moment of being like, oh, I didn't really know what I needed. Thank you for saying I'm so pretty. I really value that today. Like, please inflate my ego. But there's one thing a Leo needs, it's to feel more pretty and more like important and powerful. So keep it coming. No, but genuinely, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, so let us do the thing. I'm gonna actually put on some like little meditation-y vibes here so we can like chillax together. Let's see. I'm gonna remember what I called it. There it is. Perfect. All right. The levitating moon. Okay, that's what we're doing today. So I'm holding this card of something that we need. But right now I want you to think of what you think you need that would make you feel better right now. And since this is a reading that focuses on our masculine and feminine energy coming into balance, and a lot of people seem to watch it for relationship, you can think about it in terms of relationship, but you don't have to limit yourself. You can think about anything. You can think about having a better job or having more money or um, being able to go on a vacation or getting a massage or whatever. But when you think about how you feel right now, I want you to think about something that will make you feel better. So, in order to kind of get a sense of how you feel, let's just have you take like a breath and kind of feel out your body a little bit and sort of poke around. Do you have tension anywhere? Physical tension, neck, shoulders, low back? Do you have any kind of pressure in your head, crown? Just how do you physically feel at the moment? Just sense it out. You don't have to do anything about it. You just feel it out. So now you know how you feel right now, whether it's good, bad, ugly, you know, tense, stressed. And I want you to imagine this thing happening that is going to make you feel better than the way that you feel right now. Something that you think, I definitely need this to happen. If this happens, then I will feel better. And I want you to imagine that that thing is happening to you right now. So just let yourself go into as much detail as you can about this event and just think about it for a moment with me. Where do you feel sensations in your body when you imagine this event? Does it give you a sense of relief, as if a burden has been lifted? So physically, you're able to relax your shoulders, your neck. Does it feel like excitement so that you almost have a little bit more tension in the body, in the chest, in the throat? Do you feel tears welling up? Do you feel anything in your heart chakra, in your chest, or your solar plexus, or even your root? Do you feel passionate? Do you feel sexy? Just let yourself feel the sensations in your body that you would feel when this was happening to you. I want you to take it one layer deeper, and I want you to imagine that it's 5 years from now, and you're out to lunch with someone. It can be the person you imagine the event with, it can be anybody, somebody close. And I want you to imagine telling them how you felt when this thing that made you feel better happened. I want you to say something like, "Oh, I can even remember how it feels or how it felt," and describe it to them. Are you smiling? Are your eyes lit up? Do you feel that glee again? Do you feel that relief? Just tell this person about it, reminisce with them, and tell them how amazing it was and how much it changed your life. When you're ready, start to come back to me. Music stopped abruptly. And as you're coming back, you can keep the sensations you just created if you want. You can hold on to them. And if it's hard to hold on to them once you come back to reality, that's okay. So, when we do this meditation, there's a couple of things that happen from this. And number one, we're practicing forming new pathways in the brain. Because I want you to think about how many times you've sat down with a friend at lunch and talked about how much someone hurt you, and talked about how it made you feel and cried, and talked about how, it's it gives you all this doubt, and it gives you all this fear, and it makes you afraid of being in another relationship now, or trying for that job because you could fail, or whatever. Like, I'm thinking about my bassist called me last night, and it was so easy for me to talk about what I was disappointed in about myself, or what didn't feel good. But it would have been really hard for me to tell him about what I hoped would happen, or about what I really feel might happen, because I'm afraid that it won't, and I'll just be like, talking about something that's not going to happen again, a missed opportunity, right? So we spend a lot of time believing in and fleshing out and imagining and feeling unworthy, hurt, abandoned, anxious, afraid, worried. We spend a lot of time talking about those things, and we practice those states of mind. I'm living in my house with my parents for the last few months as I'm trying to transition into a new home. And I'm noticing how much my mom is in that state of mind. And I'm thinking to myself, you're retired. You could literally do anything all day long that you wanted. And what you choose to do is be annoyed because you have to mail a package or because you told somebody you do something you didn't want to do. And like, I just sit around and I'm like, aren't you living the dream? Isn't your choice like you went and you did what you were supposed to do, and that's what you criticized me for not doing, and now you have achieved. You've achieved the retirement. Like you worked for the state as a school nurse, and you have a decent retirement, and you could just be happy and you could just feel good. But you practiced your whole life being anxious and worried and annoyed and irritated. So when you finally get to the point where you can just stop having to feel that way, you can't stop because your brain has only ever learned to do that. So by doing this exercise all the time, you're giving yourself an opportunity to practice feeling how you want to feel. And for all the law of assumption people that are like, it doesn't matter how you feel. And for all of the law of attraction people that are like, it only matters how you feel. I just want you to disregard all of that stuff because a lot of it is it's just words. But psychologically speaking, when we're children, we practice, right? We practice, we play kitchen set. We play, like that we are whatever occupation that we imagine being at that time, we pretend that we're a singer or a dancer or whatever. And that's what we practice. That's what we play. That's what we're trying to be. And then those things start to get squashed down by the big people who have spent their whole lives worrying, being afraid and anxious and telling, don't dream like that. If you dream like that, you're going to be disappointed in life because life sucks and then you die. They practice that and then they teach you to think that way. And yeah, there's a lot of things that happen in life that aren't the greatest ever, but you're also just alive, you're breathing, you're getting to go outside and see the fall leaves. If you're in a place with seasons, you get to spend time with family and connections. There's a lot of things that we could be thinking that would feel better than the things we choose to think about. So you're forming new pathways. You're practicing feeling and thinking how you want to feel. The other thing that you're doing in that exercise is you are teaching yourself that the thing that you think you needed to happen to give you those feelings didn't even have to happen. You just gave yourself the feelings and the thing didn't even happen yet, which means your ego has totally deceived you into believing that there is only this one way that you're going to feel the way you want to feel. There's one person, one job, one career, one permutation of any of those things, and anything else is going to be dissatisfying. Nothing else is going to give you the feelings you're after. Well, I can call bullshit on that because if you were able to go into that meditation and visualize and feel the feelings you want to feel, you just showed yourself that you didn't even need a physical experience to get the feelings you wanted. So that's going to take the pressure off of whatever thing you thought was going to give you the feelings. Because now you're like, okay, I have access to these feelings. Now, if you were thinking about what you wanted to happen and you couldn't believe it would happen, and so when you were imagining it, you felt doubt and you felt kind of longing or you felt distance from the thing that you were thinking, the next time that you do this exercise, I want you to try something smaller, something that's something that's you're not so needy about, just something smaller. Like, I think I would feel better right now if I had more consistent readings booked. Okay. I think I would feel better if I had around the $5,000 a month I need to survive in the state of Massachusetts if I want to go live there, ... Rather than thinking that, I could think, I think I'd feel better if I just had more consistent private readings booked. Okay. And then imagine that feeling, what it would feel like. Oh God, I don't have to worry today. I've got this. This is happening today. This, whatever. And give yourself the feeling of not having to worry about where your prosperity is coming in just that day, right? Make it smaller so that you can really be immersed in the feeling without feeling doubt, which kind of defeats the purpose of helping you to get into the space where you feel good, where you can be open, where you can be receptive. The final piece of this puzzle is that thing that you think you need, You think that thing is going to give you this feeling, and it probably would. It probably would give you that feeling. Will it last forever? We all know that it won't, because everything is temporary. What is something that you actually need that is it's 10:33 on the clock right now, more consistently give you these feelings? This is the King of Swords. So this is the actual card of what we actually need to help us feel the feelings that we are after right now. This is from my Tarot of Mystical Moments deck, and this deck is unique in that it has male and female kings and emperor. I think they missed an opportunity to do the same thing with the queens and the empress, don't you? Because I really would have liked to have seen like some of my beautiful trans queens in those roles. But regardless, it is a cool concept to have both the female and male energy embodied in the king card. And what this is telling me is that for both the masculine and feminine energy, for just people in general, what would make us consistently feel those feelings that we were just seeking is if we approached what we desire with a little bit more strategy. She's literally taking her wishes, plucking them from the sky, and then sewing them into the fabric of her being. Okay? There's nothing more powerful than that. And in order to do that, you have to allow yourself to wish for things. You have to allow yourself to imagine good things happening to you, just like we just did on a daily basis. And then you have to bring your intellect to it, which is like, look, if I wanted these feelings, then I'm going to have to do something to ensure that I get these feelings all the time. And do you know what that means? That means that if your feelings were based entirely on someone else doing something for you, that you're getting this message right now that that thing you think is going to make you feel better, it's not going to. What's actually going to make you feel better is if you know how to give yourself the feelings you expect this other person to be bringing you. It doesn't mean that people can't come into your life and give you those feelings. It just means that if you know that you always have the capacity to weave your own dreams, then you're not going to be disappointed by other people's lives just being their lives, like them having to make choices that are based entirely on their own experience of the simulation or whatever you want to call it. So being really balanced and understanding that it is up to you to provide both that king and queen energy within self, to be able to process emotions strategically, to be able to then strategically implement ideas that you have in order to shift or change those emotions. That is going to be something that is going to give you the feelings that you were just seeking day after day after day. And it's never going to rely on an external source. It's always going to come from within. All right, let's get started. It looks like this is going to be a long reading because I'm only starting the reading now, and it's fine. It's fine. I'm glad that we get to do that meditation together. For those of you that are asking for personal readings, I'd be more than happy to do personal readings after I do this collective reading, which will take probably around 30 minutes. If you can't stay for the whole thing, and you want to watch the entire reading later, it will be available it's streaming right now to YouTube, so it will be available there after the fact. And you can also see all of my content there on Tuned In Tarot YouTube that I've done for the last few years, and it is a lot. You will not get sick of me over there. If you want personal readings privately, click the link below. You can also become a member for $5.55 to see part twos from TikTok mini readings I do. Sometimes I take TikTok lives and I do upload them. I just did that for the Tell Me Everything I did on Saturday. So there are certain readings that you can see if you are a member, and it's a great way to support me. And that brings me to my final point before I dig into this reading. Please support me in some way. I'm already seeing likes on this TikTok and the YouTube. Thank you for that so much. That is helpful. But also sharing this live is one of the best ways to help. Sharing my YouTube channel. And you know, if you feel like making a donation or sending a gift, there are those options at the link below as well. And I appreciate all of the love. I know sometimes people just do tarot on the side. but this and music is my main gig. So I do rely a lot on my followers and my prayers, as I call them, to be booking readings and supporting me by sharing my content and getting it out there. So I thank you to those of you that are already doing that. And I appreciate those that are going to begin doing that for me today. Thank you. All right, so let's get started, shall we? So this happens to also be the theme of the reading today. This is what we actually need to embody, the feminine and masculine energy balanced inside of self, and particular in regards to how we think and act and how we give. That's a very important point that's being made today. So I shifted these readings the last few weeks. I no longer do 4 decks. I have reduced it down to the 2 decks and then some oracles just to save myself some time. And I'm also reading masculine and feminine at the same time also, which is slightly different than I used to do it. But let's take a look. The masculine headspace right now, top of the deck, it's me, the Queen of Coins. Don't I look lovely? No, it's actually Hera. And what's really interesting is I did a reading on TikTok before this, and I was like, how is the Divine Masculine going to show up today? And the King of Pentacles, Zeus, shows up. So the Divine Masculine is thinking of his Divine Feminine in a specific form. So this is the Divine Feminine embodied. So he's thinking of somebody that that's very nurturing, loving, caring, creative, abundant, generous, prosperous, and lovely. And it's overall on his mind, because that's this position. It's like the only thing he's thinking about. The Divine Feminine's top of the deck is the Death card. So for her, this is something is over and there has been a transformation that has taken place, because I'm fixated much more on this crow from the Crow Tarot. This is also the Lover's Path Tarot. But the crow that is rising here is actually catching my attention more than the dead crow today. So I'm feeling very much that Divine Feminine is thinking something is rising from the dead. Something that she thought was over is truly not over, or it's reborn in some way. The roses here are making me think that it involves love and romance of some kind. And I'm also so if we look at this from each perspective, we have the Divine Feminine feeling like this Queen of Pentacles energy and ready to rise like a phoenix from the ashes of whatever situation she was in. And from the masculine's perspective, we're seeing that he's thinking about his Divine Feminine, really in love, honestly, with her. And he is hoping that this will happen, that what has been over isn't truly dead, that it will be reborn, that he will not lose her. And what is underlying all thoughts and decisions? We have the Prince of Cups here and the Eight of Wands. So they are both thinking and feeling that the masculine is about to make some kind of approach, some kind of an offer. And there's apologies usually that come with the Page of Cups energy. I'm sorry, this is the Knight of Cups energy. So this is actually elevated a step up from the page, because the page is a little more emotionally underdeveloped. This is the expression of love. So there is the masculine thinking and feeling, I want to tell this specific embodied feminine that I love her. And the feminine is also thinking that she is feeling she's going to hear this message from the masculine, because she is so open to receiving it. And she may have even indicated it or communicated her openness to this in some way, which might be why both of them feel like there is something rising from the ashes at this point. Something that they have both been fixated upon. We have the King of Wands and the Ace of Wands. So both of them have been truly desiring for the Divine Masculine energy to take action. The Divine Masculine energy is actually thinking of being bold and daring and just, allowing his passions to motivate him. This is also about him being a monogamous king, because for me, the King of Wands upright is somebody who has mastered their sexual energy, because it is in the page. Thank you for saying I look so beautiful today. See, I'm telling you, I'm in my Queen of Pentacles energy right now. Thank you. I appreciate that. And for you, those of you that are just joining, if you can't stay for this whole reading, it is available on Tuned In Tarot YouTube afterwards. And I'll be doing personal readings after for $33. So the King of Wands here has this pioneering energy, really wanting to go after what he truly desires. And for me, the king is a monogamous king because he has mastery over his sexual energy, which the Ace of Wands represents. So the masculine has been working on this, and he wants to take action now because he does feel he has mastery over this. And the divine feminine has been really wanting or desiring the divine masculine to be a monogamous king and to take that action. So there's a lot of fire and a lot of passion right now in the connection. And there might be some 5D sexual energy things that have been occurring that you might have felt. Okay, here's where we get a lot of stuff going on for the feminine. And in the masculine headspace, we have this beautiful Wheel of Fortune card, which has been on his mind a lot. It came out yesterday also in the readings on TikTok, and it is back. And Divine Feminine also had, this morning I started to do a Tell Me Everything spread, but I changed my mind and decided I'm going to do it later tonight because I needed more time to do the part twos. So it's 10:44 right now. I'll be going live again at 10 o'clock, and so I'll probably put out the Tell Me Everything spreads later this evening. And so I started her reading, and actually something she was hiding from the masculine was this divine timing card, where the sense that she really did feel that everything that the masculine was doing was about this divine timing. And it really wasn't something she could fault him for anymore. And so the masculine himself, I think, is really believing in this. And he's also believing in that ability to change, because we can see that he worked on that mastery over his sexual energy, that he worked on his vision and pioneering, etc. So I think it's a really positive thing to see this upright. He's also feeling like it's time, it's a lucky time, etc. Now, the Divine Feminine has got a lot going on. We've got the Five of Cups, the Seven of Arrows, and the High Priestess, or the Wisdom card. So this timing has caused a lot of disappointment and sadness. And it's come from this perception that there are things going on behind the scenes. And with the Seven of Swords, we can sometimes feel that there's cheating going on, or just deceit or lies. And we've got hurt feelings here. We've got a masculine focused on third-party energy and in completely ignoring the relationship behind him. And Divine Feminine, being really, I guess, thinking that during this time he was doing all of this nefarious activity. But what I'm seeing is, rather than continue to think in this way, she's going within this energy. I love also that we have Shahrazad here, and she's got a book, which of course makes me think of a reader for tarot readers everywhere who are in their High Priestess energy. But this has been, the timing has taken so long, and the Divine Feminine has been like, seriously, what the fuck is going on behind the scenes? Why is this just all this disappointment? And yet this masculine seems to it seems like he does have love for me, but then I don't understand. And so she's had to rely on her intuition or tarot readings or whatever to try to get a sense of when this was going to happen. For those of you that have booked my When Will It Happen spread on my website, like that kind of an energy of like, what is it that is causing this to take so long? If there's divine timing, what is behind it? What is the reasoning behind the disappointments that we've experienced? We can hear readers say all the time, like, oh, it's divine timing. It's like, okay, well, what the fuck is the divine timing for? And she's just really had to trust herself and to try to go within and look for, the wounds that she has that she's needed to heal, all the reasons why there's been this divine timing. Meanwhile, the masculine, in the same breath, is also having to learn to trust the feminine. So here's the answer, basically. What has taken so long is that the divine masculine, who has experienced disappointment with feminine energy, who has betrayed him in the past, has had to learn how to trust the feminine. That's what's taken so long. And don't blame a person for that, because that means your masculine energy within inside of self, who has been disappointed and betrayed before by his emotions, right? By putting your emotions, by pouring into a cup that has not been returned to you. And so thereby cheating on yourself, you now have to learn how to trust yourself with a person, because you've been burnt in the past, so to speak, which is the story of Cupid and Psyche. Psyche accidentally burns Cupid when she's trying to find out if he's lying or not. So you've both been dealing with this, and that's what's taken so long. So the next time you're like, what is taking so long? And you're blaming your person, like, what is taking you so long? You can just go stand in front of the mirror and be like, it was me working on my trust issues. I'm sorry. Okay. Like, that's what's going on. I don't trust the masculine is going to come. So he's not coming. And he doesn't trust himself or trust that I'm not cheating on him while he's not coming, or that I won't cheat on him because a partner did that to him in the past. And so that's why he's not coming. So you can stop being frustrated about that. You just figured it all out just now. Trust, faith. Remember the things that everybody says every time you're scrolling on TikTok. Oh, your spirit guides have a lesson for you. They want you to learn patience, and you want to like punch your fist into the screen. You're like, am I not patient enough? Is 14 years not patient enough? You know, like, you can stop being mad, because it's trust and patience and faith. It's basically the Temperance card, the High Priestess card, and the Hierophant. Those are the lessons that you've been learning. They take a long time, buddy. And, you know, the proof is in the pudding. Look at the marriage rates. Look at the people that stay together. Look at the amount of disappointment in, you know, with people that are trying to pursue relationships that haven't worked on themselves, that don't bother fixing trust issues, that don't know what's going on within them. Oh, I'm so glad this is resonating with you. If you end up not being able to stay for the whole reading, just know it's going to be available on TuneIn Tarot YouTube when I'm done. So that brings us to this next phase here. We have, the disappointment. That's we'll hang on for that. We've got the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Oh, I'm literally talking about patience, and I wasn't realizing that I was holding the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, which is impatient as fuck. And then we have here the Four of Cups, which is disappointment at missed opportunities. It's fantasizing. It's being a little delusional. It can be about meditation and grounding as well, though. And in this case, I'm pretty sure it's about being impatient with all of the missed opportunities, all of the chances there have been in this connection to reach out, to bring that cup, to accept the cup, to do something, like, right? And so the masculine right now is feeling the impatience with himself for having missed many opportunities. The feminine is feeling impatient with having waited for this offer to come through and experienced the missed opportunities of the past. And that's why we've been working on these trust issues for so long. So that's where both the masculine and feminine energy have been. Now let's do some clarifying. So we're clarifying the Ace of Wands and the King of Wands right here, which is what the two of you have been working on. And we are getting, you gotta be kidding me, the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords. Now, that's the feminine energy. I keep swapping these around. This is supposed to be masculine, and the other one's, it doesn't matter because I'm reading them both together. But we have the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords, and then we have here the Judgment card. So we've got both parties forgiving themselves for deception, for deceiving self. And in deceiving self is when you believe in what your ego is whispering to you. When your ego is like, I bet he's cheating. I bet she's cheating, you know, or I bet she's lying about that. Or, you know, people disappoint you all the time. So, I mean, I'm sure he's just going to disappoint you again. And then we have here the awakening to understanding that you've been deceiving yourself, and by doing so have been keeping yourself trapped or stuck in place. I'm also seeing here a masculine energy coming to the feminine and asking forgiveness for having deceived her in the past and caused her to be very guarded. That's another thing that is coming from this position. So, this is the action that needs to be taken. And this is why it's taking some time for it to happen, because it is not easy to go to somebody and apologize with four parts of the apology. I am sorry. It was my fault, right? That's it. It's not, I'm sorry, but like this and that and the other thing were going on. And like, I know it sucks, but like I couldn't really help it. That's not an apology. If you come in with an apology and you have the excuse for why it happened or the explanation for why it happened, you're not apologizing. The explanation for why something happened is what you give when someone asks you after the apology, well, why did you let that happen? That's when you're like, well, this was going on. And I know it's really not an excuse because I know it is my fault. But when you're giving the apology, it is, I am sorry. It was my fault. Please, what can I do to make it up to you? And then please forgive me. And an apology only achieves its fullness if the person follows through with what the other person asks them to do. So if you say, what can I do to make it up to you? And your person, most of the time, your person is going to say, there's not a whole lot you can do to make up for it now, but I accept your apology. Or they'll say, like, just in the future, please don't, approach this with this again. Like, please do this differently in the future. If somebody asks you to, like, I just saw something about when guys look at, like, they follow women on different social media platforms and like their posts and stuff like that. And some women who are dating these men, they have their own insecurities and they express to their partner, listen, I feel insecure when you do that. And then the partner continues to do that. That is a situation where if you were truly sorry for triggering your girlfriend's insecurities, then you would just not do that anymore. It's not that hard. Like, you're not compromising anything by not ogling other women, which makes the person you're with insecure. Like, not that that person should be insecure by that, and that's something that person needs to work on, but that's not the point. The point is, in a relationship, when the relationship is valuable to you. Now, this is a thing that gets twisted in relationships. If we are codependent, then we need people to do things for us. But if we are actually autonomous and we value the relationship, then we don't necessarily stop ogling other women just for the person, just because we love this person, but because we want to maintain the relationship, which is what we want, right? Like, we want the relationship or we wouldn't keep trying to have it. So it is saying you're sorry, accepting responsibility, taking accountability, asking what you can do, following through with what you're asked to do if it's reasonable. Obviously, if somebody is like, you can't ever look at another woman again, then you probably need to go to counseling and she probably needs to work on her trust issues. But if it's a reasonable request, you follow through with the request. And then the final part of the apology is, please forgive me. And then you have to give your person space to take as much time as they need to do that. So I've seen this before in situations where a partner has cheated and they wanted to preserve the marriage. And it takes quite a while for the other person who was betrayed to become physically interested in their partner again, to feel safe, to feel like they can trust them. It takes time. And it might be frustrating because let's say you accidentally fell into a vagina by accident one night, and it wasn't something that you meant to do, and you go and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry and I need you to forgive me. And then you can't begrudge them the amount of time it's going to take for that person to be able to forgive you. You just have to say, please forgive me, and wait it out. That's not fun, guys. Like, people, that's not fun. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to go through what this whole conversation is going to create, right? It's like we want to be passionate, we want to experience the love, we want to take action towards each other. But if you're all curious about why the masculine energy is so afraid of taking the action to ask for apology, it's because no one wants to do that. No one wants to take accountability, change how they behave, and then wait for the other person to accept the apology. So it's not like the easiest thing. And especially if you're doing this from a fear-based place, this apology, which he's doing, right? If he feels guarded, then you are also expecting that it's going to take the feminine a super long time to forgive you. So you're also afraid of how long it's going to take. Whereas maybe it's not even going to, maybe she's already forgiven you, but in your mind, which you're stuck in, it might take a really long time. Okay. So that's what's going on. That's what's been blocking him in the past. If I even go through with this, and if I even do this, how do I know she's ever going to forgive me? So I have to go through the humiliation of this whole experience. I have to go through all of my fear and anxiety, push through it in the hopes that after she forgives me, she'll also agree to be in a long-term commitment with me. And she might come back at me with I can't trust you now. Like, how can I trust you now? I don't know how to do that. So you are afraid of that. Like, there is that feeling that might happen, and that's what is blocking the masculine. So we're seeing now, okay, it takes a long time to be able to overcome these fears and trust yourself and trust the feminine to, not hold it against you or to forgive you or whatever. Clarifying these cards, we have the Reunion, the Six of Cups, and the Page of Pentacles. This is a beautiful energy because this is, it's the timing right now is for me to go and attend to the disappointment and the deception and bring trust into the connection. And in order to do that, I have to reunite and I have to give something to the feminine. I can't just, keep imagining this happening. I need to do something in the physical, even if it's something very small, So the masculine energy is wanting to reunite, and the feminine is like, reunion is great, but you need to show me something in the physical, that you're doing something about all this noise. That final cards we had here, the impatience with the missed opportunities, this is being clarified by, oh my God, this card will not quit. The Death card, the Tower, the Four of Cups in reverse, and the Devil. Okay. So I'm holding too many cards. Let me go bit by bit here. So Divine Feminine here, she has been impatient with these missed opportunities. The masculine feels the impatience the Divine Feminine feels with this missed opportunities. He's impatient with himself for having missed so many opportunities. But we're seeing that this cycle is ending. And that's why we have the feminine knowing that there is some rebirth coming from the ashes of this cycle. The cycle is ending. It is releasing the fear and anxiety associated with, there's that fear and anxiety associated with giving this offer to the feminine. So there's no more hesitation because the masculine has released these fears of the divine feminine's not receiving his offer, and the divine feminine is releasing the fears of not getting the offer. And the only way that this offer can ever come in is if their thinking about it is shifting, transforming. Because if you keep thinking the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over, it's weird, but it just keeps happening. So the transforming of the thoughts. So This is no more fixation upon the missed opportunity and the impatience we feel. Instead, it's accepting the divine timing, not feeling impatient with your person, understanding how difficult it is to apologize, understanding how much how likely it is the divine feminine is going to forgive you so that you can have that confidence and just trust in her and trust in yourself and trust in the connection. And that all has taken time, and transforming and shifting and releasing fear and anxiety so that this offer can come in. I pulled 2 more cards because I pulled cards for a Tell Me Everything spread, even though that's not what we're doing. But I'm going to read all the cards I pulled. We got the 5 of Swords in reverse and the 4 of Coins. So the defeat over if you would like a private reading, I have a link in my profile. You can book a private reading. I'm not doing free readings. And after this, I will be doing personal readings for $33. The link's in my profile, Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App. So the last pieces here that are coming through, we have the mental conflict that has plagued this connection about this 4 of Pentacles. This is, I can't let go of something. It's too hard. I can't, this is the constant reiteration in the Twin Flame Collective that you can't, that if it's your twin, you'll never be able to be happy with anyone else. But I challenge that. I do not believe that's not a belief I subscribe to. If you subscribe to that belief, that's fine. I'm not judging you for that. I just do not believe in that. And thankfully, whatever I believe in is my reality. So I'm really thankful that I don't believe in that. But it is that feeling that you can't let go of something that has been, that like you're not wanting to accept defeat. It's, for me, what I believe is not that the person that I'm focused on is the only person for me and I'm meant to be with that person forever and no one else will fulfill me. It's that until I overcome the conflict that is involved with this person, the mental conflict, I won't be able to let it go. I'm going to still keep thinking about it. It's still going to bother me because I haven't actually addressed the wounds that I've received, or I haven't addressed what caused me to be attracted to somebody who would act in such a way, or I haven't. So that's what I believe is happening in the twin flame dynamic. I think it would happen if it was a karmic. I think it would happen if it was a soulmate. I think it would happen if it was a friend you were having an argument with. Until you release the mental conflict, you probably aren't going to let it go. 30 years down the line, you're like, I can't believe so-and-so said such and such about me, because you haven't released the conflict of it inside of yourself. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that there's this like omnipotent consciousness that's like, I need all twins to come together in 2022 to change the planet. I don't, because I think every human being on the earth has this divine masculine, divine feminine energy within them, because we are all part of the one consciousness, and the one consciousness is binary. And so I feel that the binary aspects of one consciousness exist in every single human being, and every single human being who has a mental conflict with someone can't put it down until it's figured out, and they'll plague them for the rest of their lives until they can work it out, the meaning of it for them. I think that there are people who are on the twin flame journey for spiritual reasons, who are meant to be in spiritual union with the divine, but it has nothing to do with a human being. I think that those people who are called to have that relationship with the divine are simply called to teach these lessons to others, and their person is significant on their journey because of that and that alone. And I don't think there's 144,000 people doing anything. I think there's billions of people on this planet doing the same thing every day. That's what I think. And I don't know. That's just me. So if you believe something else, that's totally fine. And really doesn't matter who's right or wrong about it. But I just believe that there's no reason you should label anybody anything. I think you should just acknowledge what's going on. Right? Just acknowledge what's going on. Don't acknowledge it's this, it just means this, that, or the other thing. No, it just means that until you deal with the conflict that you're having with this person, you're not going to be able to let it go. Look at, he's right here haunting her. And that doesn't mean that it's on the other person to do something to help you let it go. A mental conflict is your own conflict, and the other person shouldn't have to do anything for you to take action. That's all about how you think about things. And then these last two cards I pulled, I guess I know why I pulled them, because I was like, I pulled like as if I was doing a tell me everything spread. I usually don't have this many cards for the daily collective reading, but I happened to just pull the Nine of Cups and the Star. So I just happened to pull your wish fulfillment, your wish and your wish fulfillment, your hopes that your wishes are going to come true. And I talked about faith, and I talked about patience, and I talked about something else. I don't remember, but hope is a big component of that as well. And believing in your wishes. And yes, I'm seeing people agree with my twin flame stuff. As a person who does read for the Twin Flame Collective, I acknowledge a phenomenon whereby people experience a strong bond with someone that causes them to have telepathic events, signs and synchronicities. However, I have experienced in my life that whoever I am focused on, whether it is my person or a new person, I am able to have the same experience. And then there'll be people who's like, oh, that's because the twin jumps into another body. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's because the twin flame dynamic exists in every relationship. Even the relationship you have with your parents has aspects of the divine masculine feminine energy in it. It's why it's why these readings are relatable. I just hit 19,000 followers today, which I want to thank you so much, TikTok. That's incredible. And I'm acutely aware that there are 19,000 people who strongly relate to what I'm saying, or I guess they could like my music too, but strongly relate to that dynamic of masculine and feminine energy. My dog. Okay, she just... Are you having trouble getting up on the bed? You got to do a running jump. You got to run and jump. We go through this every day. And then she pulls like all the blankets down. Run and jump. What happens is I'm going to get up and try to help her, and then she's going to back up and run and jump. It's good. Are we going to do that, or are you just going to run and jump and get up there? You're on your own today. I can't with you. Okay. Anyway, so let's finish off with these oracles today. You have the light attributes right now of the Avenger energy. And this is a desire to balance the scales of justice, a righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. And I'm seeing a map here, and he also has a mask on. And so there are elements of travel that I feel whenever I get this archetype. But avenging is... and this desire to balance the scales. So both of you really want... it's 11-11 as I'm saying this. Both of you really want to make things equal. You really want to balance out what has been very imbalanced within you and between you. And you are in this light attribute of doing this for the planet. And that is actually what I believe about the twin flame dynamic. Not that the twins specifically do anything special outside of just becoming aware of their the illusion of separation, but that when you balance out like this, it has a ripple effect on the rest of the world. She literally just turned a page on my notebook to get my attention. Okay. The lady has spoken. All right, let me help you. Go on. Go ahead. Come on. There you go. I guess I'm just the confidence boost you need to do the jump. Like, I don't really know what that's about. I have a notebook. This notebook. Okay? She takes her tongue and she's like, trying to get my attention. Freaking huskies. You did a good job. You could have done that without me. Really. I can't. That's hilarious. Okay, so avenging, righteousness, balancing the scales, doing something that, like, as you achieve this balance within yourself, you become a better human being, man. Like, I have been on the TikTok rabbit hole right now of all the, like, man versus women stuff. It just keeps coming up and I just keep watching it, so it's my fault that I keep seeing it. But I keep seeing like these men that are calling out these other men, and I keep seeing women that are, you know, just saying what their experiences are like and the imbalance, etc. And the solution to all of these things that I'm seeing, and I know I'm getting it because I actually teach this, and that's why I'm seeing it in my TikTok, is balance. It turns out that super imbalanced relationships fucking suck. Okay? Unequal partnerships suck. They're horrible. That's the general feeling I'm getting from these videos is people who are saying, you know, I don't want to be my partner's mommy. I don't want to. Why am I asking if you remember the dates of your family's events? Why am I like finding out if you've had your lunch packed for work? Like that's what you do for your children, not your grown ass adult partner. And I'm seeing like this pushback towards feminines wanting equal partnership in their households. It's like, look, feminism gave us an opportunity to develop our masculine energy and go out into society and take action and use our intellect and be allowed to do that. That was always a part of us, but now we are allowed to do that. But it did not help the masculine energy to balance feminine energy inside of self. It did not revere the feminine energy. It did not elevate the feminine energy, even within feminine. It just completely lifted more the masculine energy as if that's the only valid energy. And that's from the patriarchy, which is a gross imbalance. So when you are coming together into a relationship with anyone, not just your magical twin, but anyone, if you're determined to be in balance inside of self, first of all, you're going to attract others that are like that naturally. And when you run into people that are out of imbalance, you're going to smell it and you're going to be not interested in it. And that is personally what I think is happening in the Twin Flame Collective. I do not believe that the problem with not being able to get into another relationship has anything to do with, you're supposed to be with this one person. I think it has everything to do with the fact that as you come into more balance inside of yourself, you are not attracted to imbalanced people. And your past version of self has a habit of attracting some of those older models because that was your past dynamic. And you have to embrace that you've probably shifted into a place where you'll never be satisfied with that ever again. And there's a lot of people that are coming to this idea that they would rather be alone than suffer the injustices of an imbalanced relationship. And I think that's what's causing it to be so difficult to be in any other connection. And we hold on to the one that we had focused on because it's comforting. But at the end of the day, until that person is balanced, until you are balanced, and until all of the people around us are balanced, it's going to be really challenging to have the kind of relationships we're envisioning. And it's not just idealism because it's absolutely possible. We just have to have awareness of how we're behaving and shift and change it. And I hope that my readings help you do that. And I'm seeing you agree with me. All right. So the energy that is protecting, helping you, whatever, right now we have Saint Padre Pio. If you're not sort of into the Catholic imagery or whatever, you don't have to worry about it. But it's just the idea that there is this healing energy that you're being supported in, that you have done this healing, that you have filled your cup. This gives me Ace of Cups vibes, where you're like holding up your cup to the divine, it's being filled up, and you are balancing out within yourself. And the thing is, we wouldn't be seeing all this pushback if there wasn't change happening. The reason why people are getting very upset, their knickers are in a bind, and they're voting in these crazy ways to try to keep that old status quo, is because we can all feel that that old status quo ain't going to work for us anymore. There's too many people that are like, yeah, I don't think that the way things have been going were so good. And I think that we would like to do something different. And I think that the last time I checked, there's more of us than you. And so I think that these huge changes are going to take place, and you're going to have to get used to it. And it is on us not to become complacent. It is on us not to think like, oh, just because I'm shifting and changing now, the world is going to shift and change. You still have to go take action in that world. You still have to go vote for people that aren't going to screw you, like, in a few months. Like, as much as I think voting is bullshit, I think the actual thing that is most effective is when you're voting on that local level to keep people in office that are not going to choose to take your rights away from you. So I do think you really should get out there and do your part to take action to help balance the scales. And because I know a spiritual community, I don't like even thinking about politics and stuff. Like, I'm just like, ew, fuck that. But I do think that as you ascend, I'm seeing the whole 5D thing, which is like, oh, we're like ascending to this other level and everyone else is staying behind. Like, seriously, fuck you. Okay? Because if you're truly ascended, you want to help people. You want to help others ascend. You don't just like vibe off the planet and leave all of these people to struggle. That's not love. That's not healed energy. Like, I can't just vibe out of my parents' house and be like, bye, and never hope that they like heal some of their wounds or shift like the way they've behaved. Like, that's just spiritual narcissism to the worst extent. I get such a bad taste in my mouth from those people that are like, oh, I'm higher than you. No, you're not. You're not. If you're saying you're higher than me, you ain't. Okay? That's a clear indication that you're not. This is something, a way that you need to be thinking that you may not be thinking right now. A mindset that you need to cultivate is how I say it. And it is, I honor how I want to feel. And if you were here for the meditation in the beginning, then you have a sense that that you can make yourself feel better by thinking about the things that you want. That's like really one of the best ways to do it. If you find yourself feeling badly, I want you to just write down what you're thinking and just be like, oh God, like I was hearing myself say like a few weeks ago, I don't have what it takes to make it in the music industry. I never have. I let every obstacle get in my way, stop me. I'm too abnormal of a person to have a relationship. I have too many issues. Nobody is going to want to be with somebody like me. What? Mercury in retrograde was a wild ride for me. My TikTok account is growing. People are appreciating me. They're like, oh my God, we love your voice. I'm like, I don't have what it takes and nobody loves me. And like the universe is like, oh God, like, when are you going to get out of this headspace? When are you going to get out of the Eight of Swords? When are you going to stop thinking in a way that makes you feel bad and start thinking in a way that makes you feel good? Honoring how you want to feel. But you know what? The reason why that kept happening is because I kept noticing it and I kept doing two things. Number one, I let myself say everything I thought out loud to my friend, to my closest friend, and to even some of my followers. Every single thing I thought, I was like, go ahead, say it out loud. Because when I would say it out loud and hear it, I would be like, Jesus Christ, that's how you really feel? No wonder you haven't been doing well. No wonder you've been trying to like do these affirmations at night and change your life. And at the core of your being, at this part of you that you're not giving a name to, that you're not saying, is this horrible self-loathing, which is, every Leo has that like false confidence where, we even convince ourselves that there's nothing wrong with us. That's why we always know it all. And that's why we always are like, we have this impenetrable, like, I don't care what you're saying. Like everything that I am believing in my own truths. I'm refusing even to acknowledge that like deeply down inside, I'm terrified. Right. When you say the things you're thinking, when you write down the things you're thinking, you're actually thinking, when you own it, it's like an exorcism. In the Catholic Church, when you perform an exorcism, you have to get the name of the demon in order to have power over it. Once you have the name, you can bind it. By the way, that's called witchcraft, honey. Just so you know, Catholic Church, if y'all are getting a demon's name and binding it, your ass is a witch. But anyway, it's fine. When you do that, it is like a metaphorical thing that when you have something like I just said, nobody would want to be with a person like me. I'm too abnormal. Or I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes, right? Before I said those things out loud, I felt them and didn't know what was wrong with me. And once I said them out loud, I was like, I'm sorry, you don't have what it takes. How many people in the music industry do you know drive themselves alone to Los Angeles with a little bit of shit in their car, stay there for 10 years, produce their own record, perform at the Hotel Cafe, which was one of the venues that they used for the Grammys in 2020. Headline at 10 p.m. on stage at the Hotel Cafe. How is that not having what it takes? I ask you, does not having what it takes really mean that a record label didn't come and fuck you up the asshole with a shitty contract and bury your record on a shelf while other skinnier artists made music that sounded kind of like yours and they kept your music from going out so that nobody would hear it? Because that's what could have happened to you, because I had friends who that happened to. So we have this ego fixation and we have these beliefs and these thoughts, and they literally are demons inside of us. Because I have accomplished a lot in the music industry. I went to one of the most prestigious music schools. I studied electronic production and sound design. Do you know what percent of women do that? Less than 1% of the industry is composed of women who do that. I had to study engineering. I had to study acoustics. I didn't even do more than 10th grade math without crying. And I went and pushed myself to do all those things. Obviously, I have what it takes. But until I called that demon's name, it was inside me, making me make choices and decisions. It was causing me to feel things that weren't true, because I wasn't just owning that it was a thought that I was thinking over and over and over and over again. I wasn't honoring how I wanted to feel. So that's a big part of healing on this journey, is making sure that you understand that the thoughts you are thinking are making you feel a certain way. And if you write them down or speak them out loud, even if they sound horrible, even if they sound scary, even if it's like unaliving yourself thoughts, until you speak them out loud and face them, they are demons that are going to control your behaviors. That's what possession is. It's having some kind of an egotistical idea that is causing you to make choices that seemingly are beyond your control. And they kind of are, because there is a thought that you're not acknowledging that is literally causing you to make these choices. If I believe that I am never going to be successful with money, that I'm never going to heal my trauma wounds, which is something I said the other day, then that is going to be true insidiously until I own it and ask myself, I'm sorry, what did you just say? You think you're never going to heal your generational financial wounds? Okay, how about the fact that you literally get up every day and do exactly what you want to do and somehow pay for your car, even if it takes you a few extra days to make the payment? Okay? You couldn't even, your car is 3 times more expensive than any car you have ever owned before, and you can pay for it each month. So clearly you are working on your generational wounds, bitch. Like, just call out your demons and honor how you want to feel. Okay. Your spirit animal. It's deer spirit. Bring a gentle touch. So there's sensitive hides here in the, I love how this was only supposed to be 30 minutes and we're at an hour. It's fine. I'm having a good time. As long as I'm having a good time, it's fine. Okay. All right, let's see. But, okay, it's fine. It's fine. Dear Spirit is bringing you a gentle warning that now is not the time to engage in an argument, no matter how volatile others are being. Do not match their intensity with your own. If you are dealing with an overly assertive person, step back and disengage, lest you agree to something out of alignment with your intentions. Don't let anyone bully you into anything you're uncomfortable with. You have solid footing if you stand your ground with grace. Those who disagree will begin to find their own gentleness and willingness to compromise. I like that. I'm really focusing on that. I've read that 100 times. Because I'm thinking of the 7 of Wands here. You have solid footing if you stand your ground. So picture yourself standing your ground, holding on to your desire. And then this statement, those who disagree, which are all those other wands there, they will begin to find their own gentleness and willingness to compromise. That's like an affirmation. That's like, I don't have to do anything to get these people to transform. If I stand my ground and live the life that I have, felt is helping me be my best self, then other people are going to begin to find their own gentleness and willingness eventually. Dear Spirit also brings the message that it might be easy to offend someone today or take offense because someone lacks diplomacy. Let all of that pass. You are not meant to take this world personally. While it is a beautiful gift to be sensitive, today you need a tougher hide so that any compromises you make allow you to maintain your integrity. So I think this is coming up primarily because of the struggle that the masculine energy is having with having to confess to the feminine what he was doing. I think that this is about the divine feminine really not taking those actions personally and just understanding that like everybody is on a journey and they all take certain paths to get where they need to go. And it's not something that is about you personally. It's not about any lack within you. It's not about anything you failed to do. It really is just about what they needed to learn at that time. And that is going to help both of you with this. It's 111 on the timer. That is what is going to help both of you with these feelings that you're having of or dealing with the forgiveness and the being able to come together and have that conversation. Your theme for this week is the 10 of Cups in reverse. And I think it's in reverse because you have been thinking about this for a long time as if it is almost here. It's almost here. It's almost here. It's almost here. It's close. It's close. How many times have you seen a TikTok reading or YouTube reading or something where somebody has been like, oh, it's close. It's coming. Just be patient. It's happening. It's here. It's almost there. It's almost here. It's almost there. It's almost here. Do you know what would fix that? What would fix that? You will stop seeing that in tarot readings when you start to acknowledge everything that you have to be appreciative of right now, where you are not thinking about always the future potential when you're going to feel better when something happens, but being in this present moment and being like, there are so many things I have. I can say this personally. Maybe you can't say this for yourself, but I can say that for myself, there are so many things that I have right now in my current environment that I wanted for a while when I was living by myself in Los Angeles, especially for the 2 years during COVID and after COVID, 2020 and 2021. I was completely isolated alone. I was quarantined for the entire time. For all of 2020 until February of 2021 was the first time that I went out with somebody to go out of my home and leave and we went to the Huntington Gardens and I was able to get outside into nature, like, because I didn't have a car and I lived in the inner city, not far from Skid Row, and it was just not pleasant to walk around. And so I spent that whole time isolated. And now I returned to my parents' home for the summer while my son was here with me. And I'm supposed to be moving to Massachusetts, which is proving to be very expensive to do. And I'm working on being able to figure out how to do that. And I could be thinking about how I'll be happy once I'm in Massachusetts with my son and we live together finally. And we have our home and I could be thinking about that. I could be, oh, it's almost there. I'm almost going to be able to leave. Like, it's so close and it's going to happen. My person's going to come through. We're almost there. We're going to be there. It's almost there. Or I could throw the card, or I could think about how I have a comfortable bed. I'm surrounded by my family. We share food, laughs. We watch shows together. I walk outside. It's beautiful. I get to experience the seasons, which I really missed. It's fall right now and it's just freaking gorgeous. I have my car that I didn't have when I was living there. I have, my mom, she's a Virgo, so gift giving is her love language. And every time she goes to the store, she comes back. She's like, oh, I found this sweater you might like, or I found these pants you might like. And I haven't been able to buy clothes for myself like that in years. I have socks. I have shoes. Works at a St. Vincent de Paul. So it's called Outreach. It's kind of like a thrift store. And she's been finding all these really nice things that I might want for my apartment. So I have downstairs, I have like a little area in the dining room where we're starting to accrue some things that I can use when I finally move into my place. I have so many things to be appreciative of. And I could keep thinking, oh, I'm going to be happy tomorrow. It's going to, when my person comes, oh, blah, 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 blah. But if I stopped thinking that way and started thinking about all that I have to appreciate right now in my life, no matter how small or insignificant or out of alignment, quote unquote, with my ego's idea of what would make me happy, I think that I would experience what I have been seeking now instead of it's 11:33 on the clock later. So that is all I have for you today, YouTube. If you want a personal reading, you can hop over to TikTok, and I will be doing personal readings for $33. There is a link in my on my website, Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, and I will be seeing you all on Wednesday, hopefully. I have been wanting to teach the Twin Flame, Origins of the Twin Flame class, but I'm at a point where I have to break down all of the gods and goddesses of the Greek, Roman, and Egyptian belief system in order for us to progress through that understanding of Isis and Osiris through how Plutarch explains it. And it's very overwhelming, and I have to find a way to teach it in a short period of time. So I've been trying to figure that out the last couple of weeks. So that's what's been taking me so long. It is a class that is in progress. Like I'm literally preparing for the class and then teaching it. That's why it's on YouTube and free. It's basically for me to understand the origins of the twin flame myth, because I have been very sick of a lot of the people on the internet that talk about it as if there are facts written down somewhere, and they haven't even actually read the texts that contain the facts that they're claiming are written down somewhere. And I'm trying to get all my facts straight. So I'm not entirely sure if I will be ready on Wednesday or not. But eventually I will continue teaching that class. I just really need to prepare. I'm basically trying to give you a big chart of everybody. So you can be like Zeus and Jupiter and, can't even remember the Egyptian one. Anyway, that's exactly why we need the chart. So that is what's taking so long with the class, and it will be back up as soon as I have that all complete for you. I will then, of course, be... Oh, there is an event. Yes, I'm glad I thought of this. So there's a couple of events coming up this month where I will do free readings. On Thursday this week, I'm going to debut Lady Luna, or the Crafty Country Witch, as you may know her on TikTok. I'm going to debut her self-care spread, which is an awesome spread. I'm actually going to do it for myself today. And I'm going to do that for the collective on Thursday night for my self-care event. I will also be pulling individual cards. I will answer a question, and I will pull one card to answer the question, and then I will pull you a self-care card. So I'm going to be doing that at, I think it's at 7 p.m. The event is already posted in my profile on TikTok, so you can check it out. If you pre-register, I will give you priority. If there are a lot of people there and there's comments going and going and going, I will keep a list of those who are pre-registered. So if you go pre-register for the event, I'll make sure I have a list of you so I can give you your free readings, because I'm just going to basically choose people as they come up in the comments, unless you're pre-registered. And just like that, on the October 21st and October 28th, we're going to be doing like a spooky tarot night. So I'm going to use my spooky decks. It's just going to be normal readings. I might we'll have like a little gab sesh about some of the paranormal events I've experienced in my life. There's a ghost in my room. I'll tell you about her. But I am going to be talking about that on the 21st and the 28th. And I will be doing the same thing, one card pulls for people that night. And again, if you pre-register for those events, I'll give you priority. If you pre-register and you don't show up, it's okay. Like I'm basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, if you pre-registered for the event and I see you, I'll go ahead and do your reading. And if I don't see you, then I won't do your reading. So that's how it's going to work. So don't feel like you can't pre-register if you can't make it. Just go ahead and do it. And the last part about that is probably the one on the 28th. Maybe I'll do a costume. I don't know. I haven't done a costume in years. So maybe I'll get all dressed up for you. But definitely we'll be doing my spooky decks, so it will be fun. And if you want to send me any new spooky decks, by that time there's a link in my profile to send me a deck, or you can send me a gift also for that apartment that I have to move into that I keep talking about. And there's those lists are available on my site. You can also send donations if you appreciated this reading and you want to help. I definitely could use it. I think that's everything. So thank you so much, YouTube. I will see you again very soon. Take care.